welcome back to another Unstoppable recap. Now, family, you know love can cause you to do the silliest things sometimes, right? It causes you to do some things where you probably would have never normally do. And I'm going to explain why I'm saying that. In this recap right here, this lady shared on Unstoppable Live some time ago about a man that she met. You know, he was there for her during her rough times and they got in a relationship and she was truly in love with this man, right? They wanted to build a life together. They went as far as to try to get a home together in which the funds wasn't always there, but she contributed what was necessary to pay off the bills and all of that on the house because it almost got taken away, you know, and all of that, right? Now, listen to the nitty-gritty of things. She and this man was building life together. They got a daughter together. One day she dropped him at work and went back to pick him up. And the man disappeared. Literally disappeared out of her life. Years later, according to what she shared, she found out the man had migrated to the United States without even telling her. Anyway, they reconnected. And, you know, she was still in love with him. So obviously she was trying to make things work. Family, things didn't work out as you would think. She even almost or possibly lost the house. I guess you'll have to listen to find out what happened in the end. Listen to this one that was shared on Unstoppable Live.
Well, I was living in Jamaica for some time where I live with this gentleman. We're going on for like years. He was the first person for me. And while we were living together, I used to bring him to work and pick him up back from work. One morning I bring him to work. The evening I pick up my daughter, head to his workplace to pick him up. When I go there and I ask for him, the security say he leave long time. I said, leave long time? That's strange. I said, he leave long time? He said, yes. So, you know, I went to him and I sit there. I said, well, maybe he take a taxi home. Right? He never returned home. So I go to the police station the other morning and I report him missing. They said, well, I gotta wait till 42 or 22 hours before 42, something like that. I don't remember. I gotta wait for him to return, and if he's not returned, then I can file a missing report. I said, okay. Well, while I'm there, you know, he's a sole breadwinner, so it's gone for weeks. Well, you know, I didn't feel comfortable because I go to his mother. His mother said, no, he's not there. You know, I asked around, asked friends and all of that. Well, no, I'm seeing, well, now my family chip in and they help me to do whatever necessary to do. Remember, he paid the mortgage, he pay whatever. Well, when we just get the house from Housing Trust, I was working in the Cayman Island. He didn't have the first down payment, so I found the first down payment for the house. You know, we start from there. From 96, we start in April. We start the house, yeah, and we keep adding on, put on fence, you know. All right. I stop working, came and I come back home. You know, he's the one who take over again, do all the bills and all of that. So when he left, now I went away. Now the bills start to rise, and I get a message from Housing just saying that the house is in arrears. Then the next month I get from credit union that he borrowed $1.5 million. And the house is in arrears. I go out there and I talked to them and they said, there's a notice coming out that in a month time, for 30 days, I supposed to leave the premises. I said, no, that is not right. Anyway, I don't know where to meet him, where to reach him, where to call him because I don't know nothing about him. I get down. My daughter, she can't go to school no more. And, it's all of this, all of this, all of this. I remember I was home one day and the Varna sit down, don't know what to do. Then somebody called me from Chicago and tell me that they see him and he's married with a child. I said, what? This is where the heart come in now. And this is where I go like really crazy. Like I really get depressed. They take me to the doctor. My brother them take me to the doctor. I was deep in depression. Doctor give me medication for depression. And it goes on and it goes on. And I locked up for days. And I don't know what to do. And this bill is rising and I don't know what to do. Luckily, I did have $70,000 saved away. So I bought, that time they call it flatty. Bought a flatty. And I start to run a robot with it. And I run a robot with it. I run a robot with it. And I run robot. I pay the bills. I pay the bills. I run robot. I do a lot of things to pay the bill. I pay the tax. I pay the credit union, the money he hold. I pay housing trust. I paid off all credit union, the $1.5 million. I go through it. I paid off everything. I start to pay the mortgage, pay the mortgage, pay the mortgage. Till one day he called and he said, I sent $100 for you. I said, for what? And then I start to tell him the problem, what is taking place here. He said, all right, you gotta leave then. Pack up the place if you can pay the bills and go back to your family home. I said, remember now, I have a daughter. What I'm gonna do with my daughter? He said, well, if you can pay it, you pay it and you stay. I said, just like that? I said, after we put so much in the house, you want me to leave and go home? He said, well, he can't pay because he's not working now. His wrist break and this and that and whatever he do for me and his daughter gonna come back for us and hey, one bag of things. Okay. Happiness, he hang up. I never went and collect that $100 because it have no use to me. All right. One day I went to Kentucky with my daughter and I meet this gentleman. He's up in position. And I tell him my situation. And he tell me that he's gonna be there for me and my daughter. And this man take over my responsibility. And God, it's like God sent this man to me. This man pay every bill. This man do everything possible for me. This man married to me and give me a visa and give my daughter a visa. And I started traveling in the United States, back and front, back and front. One night I was in Florida and no, my daughter father called and said, oh, my wife threw me out and I have nowhere to go. You have a family who could take me because I have a lot of family in New York, Chicago and all of that. So he come and said, you have nobody to help me? I was like, really? He said, yes. He says out in the cold and it was a December too. And I called my cousin in New York and I said to my cousin, listen me, so-and-so is on the street in Chicago. Could you assist me by helping him? Like send a money over there to him and let him get a hotel to stay? He said, no, I him, oh my, no. Me, I forgot help him because we know him like that. He drove from New York to Chicago and get him. When he get him, he bring him back. They sleep in our hotel. Then they come down the morning and he put him up. When he put him up, he called me and he said, "Look, cause he's here with me." I said, "Thank you." I leave. I leave Florida and went to New York just to see him because this chapter is unclosed and I need to close it because it's deep inside me. And when I went there, my cousin picked me up at the airport. And when I go in that house, I said to him, "Why did you do this? Why? Why you leave me and your daughter like that in the cold? That's the only daughter you have. You have three boys and one girl, and you leave me like that with the girl." Anyway, say him sorry and him break down and him this and him that. Okay? I said, "No problem." I leave and I went to my sister. From my cousin's house to my sister. My cousin take me from his house to my sister's house in Queens. And we exchanged number and he called me the morning and he said, "You have any money and you help me?" Well, this is my daughter father and we share a band. I give him 1,000 US. We talk and all of this. He said, "What happened to the little girl?" And I said, "Well, he's back home." And he said, "Who you leave her with?" I said, "I leave him with a helper." He said, "Well, sorry for what happened and whatever." I send a ticket for my daughter and bring my daughter in New York. That's my daughter could see him. My daughter see him and said, "Dad, why you do this?" Wait. All right. I went back to Jamaica with my daughter and didn't know this man was that sick. He have diabetes. He has hypertension, kidney failure, heart failure. I didn't know that. So like a couple years after, he said, he want to come to Jamaica and he don't have no ticket. He want to make a will. I said, "What are you gonna make a will for? You have nothing here to make a will for." He said, "I don't want if I die." I know, listen now, I don't know that he was that sick. He said, "If I die, I don't want nobody to come and take you and my daughter out of that house. That house belongs to you and my daughter." I said, "Okay." Right, he go on, he start to work at this place and he work and you know, then my cousin have some apartment in New York, so my cousin did rent him a apartment and he was paying his bill. Then the lady find out where him is and the lady put him on child maintenance. So now his pay is going to the wife. He's not getting nothing. So he started to talk to me and I feel I go out for him. I started this time I have a little business like running in Jamaica. I have like a couple taxi on the road. Life has improved for me. So I started helping with rent, food, whatever. I started to send money to him in New York. I said, "Why not come home? I'm willing to accept you. Come back home." He
So
said,
let's take up in for a minute. So what happened to your husband during all this time? Where's your husband in the picture while you're reaching out to this man?
"He's still there. He's still there, but I'm doing it without him knowing." Right? So every time I leave going to New York, I tell him that I'm going to my cousin or my sister. I have a lot of family around. So, and this is place we've been to.
All right, wait
You know,
there, wait
so
there. Let me ask you a question before you move on. So Your husband still in the picture now, just in case him come
Yeah.
across the video here where you say a while
No,
ago.
no, 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 no. We divorced long
Oh,
time
okay. But that's not make
ago. No,
sure.
no, 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 no,
Okay,
no,
all
no,
right.
no, no.
Continue, continue.
So it's happened that we start to correspond, and I start to go and come and go and come. So one day I go by his house, and I start to look through his things. So I start to see medication, medicate. So like, what this for? He said, they said diabetes. I said retribution is a hell of a thing. That's what I said to myself. And he said he has to, do some treatment or something. I didn't really pay no mind because I get work in New York now, so I start to work, go home, and all of these things. So by doing this, one day when I'm going home, my cousin take me to the airport, so he did come with us. They're like, why? Sorry, I'm not coming back down with this. I said, come on. He said, I'm on child support, and if I leave the country, wait. No, I don't know much about the US, so whatever I say, stand. All right, I said to him that I'm willing to accept. Come home. This is your home. I leave. I go to my husband's house. So come home. This is yours. He said no because he has to work, and because of his medication and whatever, he can't come back to Jamaica. It's gonna expensive and this and that. No, he's on his face. All right. He keep calling all the wife for money. So my daughter said to me, Mommy, don't send no more money to daddy. Stop. Don't do it. Stop. So I said, no, I can't do that. He said, Mommy, look, save your money. Don't send no money to daddy. Daddy put himself in this. Daddy got to stand up on his feet. I said, you can think like that. Remember now, that's your dad. My brother talked to her and tell her that's your dad. You can't do that. You can. So this little girl don't talk to him. Stop.
All right.
Don't even talk to him.
Okay, so one more question. So I feel like I have to ask this question. While you're
No
doing
problem.
all these things for him, right? Was it
Yes.
out of just the
Pity.
kindness of your heart, or were you actually still in love with him?
Well, of course, I'm still in love with him. That's the first person for me, of course. And I'm still right now in love with him. Although it's dying past.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. All right, continue.
Yeah. And, we go on and we go on back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So one day he said to me that he gonna come home again. He said to me again, he gonna come home to me this. Well, because he did make one before he left and left it with a justice of the peace. I said, you send me back to the justice of the peace and tell me to go to him and tell him to look if he find it. And if he find it, I must make him know that, yes, he found it. So I said, all right, no problem. And I go there. He said, no, he moved from the building to a next one. So I don't know where the papers are. Okay. One day now, I'll be calling him. I'm in Jamaica because I constantly calling him often now. So I'll be calling him. I can't get him. I can't get him. And I keep calling. I jump on a plane and I went to New York. And I said to my cousin, I'm calling him and I can't get him. You have a key for his apartment? He said, yes, but remember, I rent in this place. I can't give you the key to go in. So I said, okay. So we go there, we call, we don't get him. So they say, oh, well, I have to pull the door. Now, when we pull the door, he was not there. So I said, no, man, something wrong. Then what happened? He make up back with his wife and go back to Chicago. So I said, oh, shit. This man is serious.
So at that time, how did that make you feel?
Like a shit. Like,
But
No, you could never feel good.
okay, wait. I'm confused, and I know that the viewers right here are confused too. Because bear in
Hmm.
mind, you said that you met a man who got you to the states, took your child to the states, did everything for you, and then this man who abandoned you come back in the picture, and you were still running around for him, and with what hopes of getting back with him?
No, just helping him because, right, when I was like young, my mother died when I was like 13.
Mm-hmm.
So my child father was the person who sent me to school, who there for me. You know, he play a role in my life before we becomes lover.
Mm-hmm.
So that softness, this emotional feelings is there for him. So, all right. So anyway, I said, oh shit, he gone back this way. So I said, okay, no problem. This man now I'm married to, I can sit with him and I can tell him anything. So when this happened, I go to him and I said, I have something to say to you. And I would like to hear your input on it. And I say to him, and I said, what? This thing was going on behind my back. I said, and I explained everything to him. He said, okay, I understand him. But I tell you, this man is Shakespeare. This man is Shakespeare. Leave this man alone. Yeah, I agree. The daughter father and all of this, and he did that and he did that, but leave him alone. And I said, it's kind of hard. So I don't know what happened again between him and the wife, but he ended up back in New York. And he go back to my cousin. It was there, it was there, it was there for. So one day he called and he said, I am terrible sick and I need medication and whatever. So I go back again and I start to help him with his medication. I have all the medication papers them here.
See,
All the
see,
bills I pay for him, I have everything right now.
see. This is what have me like. I'm like trying to figure out why you keep doing this because bear in mind, a few minutes ago you say, when you realize him gone back to him wife, you felt like crap. And now you're
Hmm.
gone back again after him call upon you. It have me wondering why. Like why are you why you constantly go back to him?
I feel like I owe him. I owe him a lot because things he done for me. I tell you the truth. Right now, nobody have ever done it for me, and I appreciate him. Right, I never you turn your back on somebody who will always be there for you. Yes, people make mistakes in life. You understand? I have a kind and loving heart. I do, and as I said, my first child, he was the father for my first child. So I always want to be there for him. And I know if it was me, he would be there for me. Right? So that was my big, big, big aim why I do what I do for him.
Okay, fair enough. All right, continue.
All right. And anyway, I try to help him, but I tell him I'm not getting back as much as I did, but whatever you want and I have it, I will. All right. He reached the age now where he was working. He reached the age where he could take early retired in Jamaica. He called me and he said to me that, I needed to go such and such a place to do such and such a thing. I need that money to go to an account for my daughter because I tell you, I was not there all this time. You were there for her, and I want you to do this for me. Well, he do a couple things, and he did get the money to the account, and he sent me to NIS. He get his lump sum, and he did put the money to the account. All right. While he did this, now I didn't know that he was getting down that bad. So I don't go to New York for, maybe a year or two. So one day he called me and he said, you have any money? Could you buy me a ticket to come to Jamaica? I said, yes, I can. When I get a ticket, I go to the airport for him after I buy the ticket, tell him the time and whatever and whatever. We go by the airport, me and his daughter, and we pick him up, and one of my friends, and we pick him up. For how many years? As first he's gonna come back to Jamaica. When he come back to Jamaica, when I bring by house, he said, "Oh my God, Jesus, you changed the house. Oh my God." I said, "You remember when you were leaving? It was just a bed and a dresser and a stove. You remember that?" He said, "Yes, you fancy, did you do this?" I said, "Yes." He said, he started to cry. He break down at the step and he started to cry. He said, "How you do it? How you do it?" Now, at this time when I bring him to Jamaica, I have to hold my husband in his house that he don't come to my house. So I would have to because he used to come by me, right? Because like he used to station there, like station right there, and like his house now is dark, and his son used to buy his house, so he used to come by me. So um, I have to tell him like I'm not gonna be here. I'm going to country by a family member. So when I come back, I'm gonna call it. So no, he's gonna stay there like for 5 days. So I have time. About time on my hands. So it's like when he come now, like I keep keeping in check with my husband at his house and saying, yeah, I'm in the country and all of that. So he said, listen. So my daughter father said, listen. He came this Sunday, so he said the Monday we're going in Mapen to see the justice of the peace and whatever. When I take him there and he would go in and he said, listen, I want to write a will, and they tell him what to do and all of this thing. He did it. He get the witness. He get the justice of the peace and all of these things. So he get two justice of the peace. He get two witness. He get another person who would be the executor. So you get a justice of the peace to be the executor, another person, and a justice of the peace to sign off that yes, he was there, and the two witnesses. All right. I take him back to the airport. After I spend the 5 days, he, said goodbye to us and what. When I see him, when he come to the airport, and I see him, I like, oh my God, what wrong with you?
All right. So stick another pin again. Remember, I know me I stop you a lot, and I must apologize, but where I
no problem.
Yeah, where I feel like I have to ask a question, I have to butt in and ask.
Yes, you have to.
During all of this, did this man know you was married at the time?
Yes, I tell him. Yeah, I tell him, and my cousin tell him.
So, were you willing to mess up your marriage because of this man? Was that a risk you was willing to take?
No, because it can't. The only thing I did not want him. My husband know that I take him back to the house, because after the situation they left me in and he take me out of it, I couldn't let him know that I take him back there.
That's why I'm asking you if you were willing to take that risk to mess up your marriage because of this man. Because if your husband found that out, I'm sure he wouldn't like it.
So after a time, I tell him that he was here and he come to make a will, and because after the fact I tell him anytime I do something after I sit with him and tell him, because he was like he understand. He really do understand.
Your husband is a very understanding man. That's all I can say.
Yeah, he understand. I'm telling you, he really understand. And when more, I would say more love. He more did love me more than anything.
All right, so continue. Anyway, yeah, man, continue.
So anyway, after the 5 days, I take him back to the airport and buy and whatever. And he left, and we wave him goodbye, man. And I was deeply sad, because I know that sign, I know. And he left, and he go on for here, there, and then one Thursday morning, I was calling him, keep calling him. no answer. Then I hear somebody call me and said, he's admitted at the hospital and he has been down as next of kin, and you know, and then I struck right there, and I break down in tears, and then I called my husband and I said to him that, what happened, and he said, listen, you want to go? I said, yes. He bought a ticket for me and my daughter, and he take us to the airport. I go in, my cousin picked me up, and then I did not feel like go to the hospital. And my cousin take my daughter to the hospital, and I was there, keeping constant dialogue with them, asking them what's wrong, and then my daughter called me and said the wife is at the hospital, and she said she gonna block me and this and that, and then my husband keep calling me, asking me what be happening there, and I be telling him, I don't go to the hospital, and it's go on till I come back to Jamaica, and it there and there and there. So I tell the doctor that if he ever need a kidney and my kidneys match, I'm willing to give it to him. If he need blood and my blood match, I'm willing to give it to him. I'll give up one of my kidney for him. And just said, wow. And he said, wow. He said, wow, he's well loved. That's what the doctor said. He's well loved. And I said, I would. And go on. And he was in there for 6 months. And the night he passed, I know before anybody tell me. And then I was at the house. I didn't know this man leave. When he left, I supposed to get his death certificate. That's what he signed up for me to do. Get his death certificate, all his documents, all of these things. I was at the house and I get his death certificate and everything. And it's like, everything started to go bad. Then the lady come and she start to go on with her antics, and she start to, she wants me out of the house and this and that, and all these things. So I'm like, what is going on?
Well, you see, it's very interesting, right? If you want to find out what happened after the woman go and try to get the house somewhere, click the link in the description. It will take you to the exact live stream that was shared, and you can listen to the video in its entirety to find out what happened in the end. Alright, while you're over there on Unstoppable Live, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on all notifications so that you will not miss the live stream when we go live on Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays, and you can actually participate, call in, share your opinions, and make sure to hit the subscribe button right here on the recap channel as well, so that when we do upload a recap, you do not miss it. Alright, until the next Unstoppable Recap, stay strong, stay motivated, but most of all, remain unstoppable.
Unstoppable.